This is the new Versace Eros Energy, a new flanker to the Versace Eros line, and today I'm going to give my honest review of it and tell you if this is worth the money, future hype, or not. Before we get into the details, let's go over the presentation. Versace Eros Energy was released in 2024 and it was made in Italy. This is the box that it comes in. I think that the box is actually very, very nice. Gold, shiny box. I think this is actually the best looking box of the entire line. On the top it says Versace, on the front it says Versace Eros Energy. On the back you're getting a little bit of information, and then on the bottom a barcode. But now when we go over to the bottle itself, I think that this is a little bit of a step down in terms of its presentation, because as you can see this is gold and then it kind of goes to a see-through translucent yellow color, which some people have referred to as a bottle of pee-pee. And I see where you're coming from. I think that this is the worst of the line. I think the box is a lot better though. I do not really fancy the color of the cap, which has the Medusa head on it, by the way. I always liked their logo. Now on the bottom is the batch code sticker. My batch code, by the way, is LU2404, in case you were wondering. So before I tell you how this relates to the other Eros flankers and how this relates to another already existing fragrance, I need to detail the listed notes. In the top, lemon, blood orange, grapefruit, lime, mandarin orange in Sicilian bergamot. Mid notes, pink pepper, white amber, black currant. And the base notes, oak moss, patchouli, and musk. Before I detail what I actually smell, I need to clear this up because a lot of people are going to be confused here. This is in the Versace Eros line, and I gotta tell you, this smells nothing, not even 1% similar to any of the other Versace Eros flankers, which is the most confusing thing about this release. But what it does smell like is a heavy inspiration from Creed's Aventus. Yes, another Aventus-like fragrance that we did not ask for or need. I think that this is a very strange release. I think it would have made more sense to put it in the Versace Boron line. These are all about freshness and being kind of fresh and clean. Eros is a sweet attention grabber meant for the club or getting attention of someone else. It doesn't make sense for this to be here. This kind of smells like a Cologne house interpretation or a twist on the Aventus Cologne DNA. It almost smells like it could be even a twist on Mont Blanc Explorer. It's in this kind of category of fragrances, so I honestly think that the only reason that they slapped the Eros name on this was as a cash grab, and I kind of think that's a little bit of a weird move. Versace is one of my favorite designer houses. I gotta criticize a mistake when I see one, and I think that that was a very big mistake to put it in the Versace Eros line. Now that that is out of the way, I want to detail what notes I actually get the most of in this fragrance. This actually opens up with a very, very bright, almost mouth-watering blast of this lemon citrus combination. I'm getting mostly lemon. You're getting almost like a lemon peel smell and also that kind of rindy citrus. After about 30 minutes or so, that is when that bright citrus kind of wears off and kind of backs its way back down, and the Aventus-like DNA is gonna start to shine. Now, yes, it does kind of smell more similar to Aventus Cologne because this doesn't have any smokiness. It doesn't have any woodiness that is too aggressive. A fresher, kind of cleaner take on the Aventus DNA. What I start to smell towards the more dry down is that black currant patchouli musk combination with that woodiness starts to take over. The citrus is back off, which was actually my favorite part of this fragrance because I really do like the opening. The first 30 minutes is my favorite part. Some people it may be the least because anytime that you have a citrus forward fragrance, they're gonna say that it smells like lemon pludge or some sort of chemical cleaner that's meant for bathrooms. I literally hear about that on all of my citrus forward fragrances. I think that the first 30 minutes are magical. I think that's where this fragrance is the best, and then it just becomes generic when it dries down after 30 minutes. And that's a little bit of a disappointment to me. I did not need another Aventus fragrance. If I wanted a fresher take on Creed's Aventus for cheap, I would have settled with Mont Blanc Explorer. We already have that fragrance, and I honestly think that's a little bit more of a well-rounded fragrance because it does have other edges in there. And I'm surprised to even say that because Mont Blanc Explorer to me was a bit of a disappointment at first because I thought that it smelled like Aventus, but if I wanted Aventus, I would have just kind of reached for Club de Nuit Intense Men Limited Edition Parfum, which is more accurate to that. Mont Blanc Explorer is something that I could appreciate over time. In this one, I just don't see myself reaching for too much because if I want a fresher take on Creed's Aventus, I'd rather reach for Mont Blanc Explorer because I think it's more well-rounded than this. Now, I do think that this is a very heavy, versatile flanker. It does give bright elements of the spring in summertime during the day, but as it dries down, it becomes something that you could wear more versatile all year round. and you'd be totally fine. Aventus DNA in itself is a very highly complemented DNA that works for pretty much any situation, and that's what you're getting here. So what is the performance like? This is going to be a deal breaker for a lot of people, and I totally understand. So when you spray this fragrance on skin, I get about that 4 to 6 hour range. Out of an eau de parfum concentration, I think that's slightly below average, but acceptable if it's fresh forward, citrus forward, which this fragrance is, so I understand it's not going to last that long. I find myself highly anosmic to this DNA, and I feel like a lot of people's noses will wear out quickly to this because it is chocked so full of synthetics after that initial opener that it's going to start to wear out a lot of people's nose and give them fatigue. When it comes to projection, I think that this is where the disappointment starts to set in. When this is citrus forward, you're getting a very big push. This is going to start off 2+ feet. But after about that 30 minutes or so, it really starts to back its way closer to the skin and sit about 1 foot of projection. And that's going to last you pretty much until the 3 to 4 hour mark before it kind of becomes a skin scent and is gone between that 4 to 6 hour range. The projection in itself is not very impressive after the first half an hour, but it becomes more of a business type of approachable businessman office scent. Performance, very average. To be honest, my disappointment with this fragrance is not towards the scent profile. A lot of people online has said that this fragrance smells horrible, that it smells like piss, that it smells like cheeks. I've seen it all. And I think that's mostly from people that hasn't even smelt this fragrance and felt disappointed by someone else's criticism online. I've seen some creators on TikTok literally crapping on this fragrance, but at the same time, I always see them glaze Mont Blanc Explorer, which smells similar to this in the dry down. So I don't know where that comes from. If you like Mont Blanc Explorer, you're gonna like this, but it's highly redundant. I hope that helps you understand where I'm going with this. I don't think this is a bad fragrance, but it is off of a DNA that I'm so worn out of. I already have my fresh version for cheap. Now, if I was to review this, I have to be honest with people when I say, just because I'm not highly impressed by a fragrance, I have to review it for the masses. How are people going to feel about this fragrance? I think that this is going to be a great seller because 99% of people don't wear fragrances anyway. I don't know if it's that high, maybe 95, but most people do not wear fragrances anyway. They do not highly obsess like I do where they have 300 bottles. They're just wanting to smell good. And when you spray this on, it does smell good and it's going to make you feel confident, which is great. As a reviewer, I criticize a brand for taking such a boring move like this and using their name to push basically a clone of an already invented DNA. That has to be talked about, and Versace, come on, you can do better than this. All of your other releases are amazing, like why do this? But as an actual fragrance in itself, which is where my review score comes from, I have to take all of that into consideration, and that is why I'm going to give Versace Eros Energy a 7 out of 10. I do think that this is a great smelling fragrance, but you can do better, Versace. I wish the performance was a bit better, and I'm very disappointed that this is off of a DNA that already exists in a line that it makes no sense to be in. And coming out with this fragrance, widely available at the end of the summertime, very, very strange business practices from Versace, but hey, they're the ones making billions of dollars, not me. Maybe one day. But only if you smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. I have talked about Mont Blanc Explorer a lot in this review, so I highly suggest that you check out my full review right here. Thanks for watching.